All right, what is up, and welcome to Not Another CFB Pod, part of the Coda Cappers Sports Gambling Network. Proud to be so. Guys, it is bowl season. We finally made it, and we deserve this, quite frankly. We've grinded through this year. We've had a ton of fun games. It's only right that bowl season is hot for us. It's going to be fun. I mean, this first weekend of bowls that I'm going to be breaking down, we're going to be talking about bowls from December 17th to December 22nd in this one, and then going forward every Thursday is when the bowl special will drop with all the picks. If you guys missed the announcement, I'm going to be doing at least one pick for every single bowl game this year, and it's going to be tough. And I already know that from just starting out doing these picks. We got so many picks to go through. I'm going to try to do a short breakdown of each bowl, the name of it, who's playing it, what my pick is and why. And then we're just going to move on because we got so many to get to, and I don't want to take up everyone's time. So let's do this. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors of the pod real quickly. Not Another CFB Pod is sponsored by Moneyline Dice. Moneyline aims to revolutionize the sports betting market through the creation of both functional and novelty products that sports bettors of all levels will enjoy. Spotted by its golden peaks, the Moneyline logo symbolizes winning, and winning big. Featured products include Moneyline Sports Betting Dice, Moneyline Sports Betting Pocket Notebook, Snapback Hat, and more. Use promo code CODA10 to receive a 10% discount on your next order. The promo code CODA10 for 10% off your next order at moneylinedice.com. The promo code KOTA10. It's some pretty cool stuff. Check it out. December 17th. It's probably when you're listening to this, it's going to be the first day it drops. We got the Bahamas Bowl, 11 a.m. Central Time. The Bahamas Bowl, if you don't know, is often it's the first bowl game, but often it's one of the weirdest bowl games. And we got that kicking it off. We got the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders 6-6 versus the Toledo Rockets at 7-5. Not the greatest game ever, but I love the Toledo Rockets here, -10. Toledo's hot. They come in winning the last 3 in a row. They just barely missed out on playing in the MAC championship. Their losses in the MAC were like this. They lost to the MAC champs, Northern Illinois by 2. They lost to Central Michigan by 3. It's a solid team. Eastern Michigan by 3. And then, I mean, that's all their MAC losses. If you look deeply into Middle Tennessee State's wins, first of all, they're coming off a season where their first 2 quarterbacks are done. So they're on their 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks. It's a freshman and a sophomore. But let's look at their wins. Florida Atlantic, not a bowl team. Florida International, not even close to being a bowl team. Southern Miss, one of the worst teams in the country. UConn, another one of the worst teams in the country. Monmouth, a FCS team. And Marshall, the only bowl team that they beat, who's like 7-5. They didn't. It's not like they were a great team this year. So they beat one bowl team. And if we remember back earlier this season, Toledo played Notre Dame really close. I like the Rockets here. They've got a running quarterback now, DeQuan Finn. And most power rankings I've seen make this game a 15-ish point spread. So getting the Toledo Rockets here at 10, or I think it's 10.5 at some places. Try to get it at 10, obviously. Loving the Rockets here. Give me the Toledo Rockets. We've rode them a couple times this season to great success. All right, next that Friday, we've got the Cure Bowl at 5 p.m. Central. This is the Northern Illinois Huskies, 9-4, versus the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers at 10-2. I've been riding Coastal a lot of this year. They're not quite as good as they were last year, but still, I love Coastal Carolina here, -11. I've already got it locked in. Grayson McCall's going to play. Isaiah Likely's going to play. Their star running backs are going to play. It looks like right now. I'm recording this the night before, so looks like we're going to have all those studs. Northern Illinois gives up 215 yards rushing per game, and we know how unique this offense from Coastal Carolina is. I expect them to run all over Northern Illinois. They're going to have the ball most of the game. Probably be a high-scoring game, but Northern Illinois is not going to be able to stop this rushing attack. Grayson McCall, these guys are going to do what they do, and I think they roll here. I love Coastal Carolina -11. Moving on, we've got a huge Saturday, December 18th, and we're going to start it off with the Boca Raton Bowl. It goes down at FAU Stadium there in Boca Raton, Florida. We've got Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 8-5 versus Appalachian State Mountaineers. The unique thing about this game is it's actually starting at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. That's pretty early start. We've got a couple of those weird, like kind of 10 o'clock, 10:30 starts coming up this bowl season. Very unique. I love Western Kentucky here, +3. Surprised they're an underdog. Figured this would be more of an even line, but +3, a decent number. We know all about Bailey Zappi. He's 5 TDs away from breaking Joe Burrow's record, and I think they're going to try to give it to him. All these Western Kentucky guys, have been grinding hard this year. They've had a great season. The way it's ended up, Western Kentucky's offensive coordinator is still calling this game, even though he took the job at Texas Tech. App State's a good team, but their passing defense, it's decent. But again, who have they played that's like Bailey Zappi? There's just not a lot of guys in that G5 category that can throw like him in this offense. I liked this over, but I think that Sean Clark, App State's coach, he's kind of old school. He may try to just slow it down because he knows the key to victory for these Western Kentucky Hilltoppers is going fast and scoring a bunch of points. He's going to try to slow this game down, but ultimately, I think Western Kentucky, if nothing else, they'll just keep it close. We're getting the +3 on the insurance, but I think they win this game straight up. So I'm taking Western Kentucky +3. Go Bailey Zappi, go. All right, next at 1:15, we've got the UTEP Miners and the Fresno State Bulldogs in the New Mexico Bowl. I love this under 51.5 for a lot of reasons. Fresno State's head coach, Kellen DeBoer, he obviously took the job at Washington. The offensive coordinator went with him. Neither one's going to be coaching this game. Fresno State's QB, Jake Haener, was a big story earlier this year when they were playing tight with those Pac-12 teams. He was in the transfer portal. He jumped out of the transfer portal when it seemed like maybe Washington didn't pick him up. He thought they were going to. So now he's like back on the team, but he's not for sure starting. They've got 3 guys listed as the starter, and 2 of them are freshmen. So if Jake Haener doesn't play in this one, I don't even know how his teammates are going to react to a teammate that was trying to leave him, but couldn't essentially and came back. And then on the other side of the coin, we've got UTEP, who been a great story this year. They haven't won a bowl game since 1967, and we already know how slow they love to play the game. They're going to try to just grind Fresno State out, play really slow. They got a bunch of Texas boys on this team, a bunch of big, strong, physical guys. I think they can run the ball a little bit, and it's under 51.5. It's not the lowest total ever. Decent number for us. We're sticking with this under. Fresno State's got a good defense. Their unders are actually 7-5 on the year. So we love this under 51.5. Next that day, we're looking at the Independence Bowl at 2:30. UAB Blazers versus BYU Cougars. Blazers coming in at 8-4. The Cougars are 10-2. I like BYU -6.5 here. There's not a whole lot of signs telling me to take the Cougars. A lot of the sharp players and stuff are taking UAB, but when I look at this on tape, BYU's just a big physical team. Look at the schedule they played. They play a bunch of Power 5 teams, and they beat those teams. Okay, they went 10-2, sure. They had a couple hiccups along the way. They lost to a Boise State team that got hot at the right time, but still, that's a solid opponent. Blazers coming in with 4 losses this game. To me, I'm going to take the team that I believe to be a little bit more physical, bigger, stronger, older. It's a unique situation, BYU. They have to be on mission for a couple years, I think it is. And so a lot of their offensive linemen, defensive linemen are old, grown men playing in this game versus, a bunch of younger college kids. So it's always really interesting. And BYU plays really hard. Their coach isn't going anywhere. I think they're going to try to win this game too, just keep some momentum going in the offseason. Next season, they're going to be a Power 5 team. They're going to be a Big 12 team. So really to kick that offseason off right, I think they'll want to win this game. UAB, I'm just not big on them this year. They're also going to likely be without their starting running back and probably the best player on their offense, McBride, the running back, and he got hurt the last game of the season. I think he was averaging around 7 yards a carry. They're not going to have him. That's probably going to play a big factor as well. Give me the BYU Cougars -6.5. Next, we got the Lending Tree Bowl. A lot of these bowls are named after, tax apps or things like that. So that's another one of these. The Lending Tree Bowl. We got Eastern Michigan 7-5 on the year. We got the Liberty Flames 7-5 this year. We were up on Liberty, then we were kind of down, up and down. They're playing a pretty bad MAC team here, I'm going to be honest. So I'm taking Liberty -6, but just in the first half. -6 first half. I didn't like the juice for the full game because I don't know how committed they're going to be to playing these older players. Malik Willis is playing in this one, and the head coach Hugh Freeze has a really good bowl game record. He's 5-2 in bowls. Eastern Michigan's in the MAC, and they just weren't even that good of a team in the MAC. They had a couple good results go their way. The MAC's just so wacky. You guys know how much I love it, but I got to go with the more experienced team here. Liberty -6. I think they played a tougher schedule as well. So we're going Liberty in the first half -6. Next, we got the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Just kind of a cheesy bowl at 6:30 Central. This is going to be played at the new LA Stadium. Very, very fast surface. Obviously, weather not going to be a factor. We got Utah State Aggies 10-3 coming in versus Oregon State Beavers 7-5 coming in. Loving this over 66.5. We're on a really fast surface. We know Utah State throws the ball. They're not going to try to mess around. They're probably going to get pushed around in the trenches by Oregon State. So they know that. They're just going to chunk the ball. It's what they're better at anyway. Oregon State's a much more balanced approach. They can come with it too. I like them to score quickly. Utah State's nothing special defensively, but Utah State, if you look at their last game, they played against San Diego State and scored 46 on them. San Diego State's got a good defense. They scored 46 on them. That's a high for the year. That's over 66.5 on this faster NFL turf. I think these teams are going to play really well. Oregon State's also without their best defensive player. He also led the conference in tackles. His name's Avery Roberts. Had to have surgery this year. That's going to hurt. I think Utah State is going to do their thing, throw the ball around, score some points, maybe make some turnovers and give easy possessions for Oregon State. This is going to fly over the 66.5. Let's do it. Next, we got the Arnell Carriers New Orleans Bowl, 8:15 Saturday. Louisiana Raging Cajuns coming in at 12-1 versus Marshall Thundering Herd coming in at 7-5. Louisiana, a really good season, but as we know, they lost their head coach to Florida. He took a couple guys with him. Billy Napier took the defensive coordinator, the running back coach, and a few analysts. And the team's going to be ran by the tight ends coach. I believe he was also co-offensive coordinator. They're a really good team. I actually really like Louisiana, but we're going with a teaser here. Marshall +11 over 49. Obviously, we're playing in a dome. We're going to be playing on turf. You guys know how much I love that fast surface. Those turf surfaces, especially when they're indoors, they just seem to play so fast. Leads to maybe more points a lot of times. Who knows? I think this teaser's perfect. I don't think there's any way Marshall just gets blown out. They're a good veteran team. It looks like their quarterback Grant Wells is going to be playing as well. He was banged up in their last game, which if you look at that box score, that's why they got worked over. Grant Wells going down pretty early on in that one and some wacky bounces going the wrong way. So Marshall +11, over 49 is the teaser. Marshall averages 490 yards on offense per game, gives up 387, which sets up pretty good for the over as well. Louisiana gets 405 yards per game and gives up 345. And obviously, Louisiana without their defensive coordinator, what's the play calling look like? You know, obviously they don't have their head coach. What's the motivation look like? This is in New Orleans, which is right in the Raging Cajuns' backyard. But again, Marshall should cover us with that +11 and then over 49 on the teaser. Moving on to Monday, December 20th, we've got a really weird game. Maybe the worst game on the slate. I'm not sure. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, 1:30. Old Dominion Monarchs at 6-6 versus Tulsa Golden Hurricane at 6-6. Loving Old Dominion +9. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know how much we faded Old Dominion early on. They were a team that didn't play football last year, but now they're playing again, and they're playing good football. They've won 5 straight. Obviously, to start the season, they lost 6 of their first 7. And so I was making a lot of money fading them. They turned it around in Conference USA play. Tulsa, they just kind of stink. I mean, it is what it is. They had a good win against SMU at the end of the year, but when you dive deeper into that win, SMU had already given up on the season. They got smoked the week before by Cincinnati. Obviously, they already took another loss before that. They were done. Mordecai played horrible in that one. Tulsa won. And you know, Tulsa, to beat this team by more than 9, would have to have their best effort of the year, and I just don't think we're going to get that. So Old Dominion +9. I think they come in with more momentum. They've won 5 straight. They're feeling themselves, and they won the first bowl win in forever. Like I said, they didn't even play football last year, so if they could end this season with a bowl win, I mean, that'd be massive for the coach and his team. So Old Dominion +9 on that Monday, Myrtle Beach Bowl. Now we're on Tuesday, December 21st. This is a game that's close to my heart. The Idaho Potato Bowl at 2:30. Many of you guys know my Twitter handle at Potato Gobbler, and so this game's right up my alley. We got Kent State Golden Flashes team I've loved watching play this year, versus the Wyoming Cowboys. Very contrasting style here. Obviously, Kent State loves to go fast. Wyoming's more of a physical beat-you-up type of team, but this over is only 58.5, so we're smashing this over. Kent State overs all day long. They played horrible in the MAC championship game. That was a high over total that we took. And if honestly, if Kent State showed up offensively and didn't have so many turnovers, we hit it. Kent State just plays so fast. I don't really care that Wyoming tries to slow the game down, run the ball. It's just not going to be enough. Kent State's going to get theirs. I think this game, they're coming back with a little bit of vengeance. Wyoming is without their defensive line coach and their starting nickel. The nickel jumped in the transfer portal. That's going to hurt against Kent State, who wants to spread you out all game long, make your guys tackle in space. All of a sudden, we got a backup trying to tackle these Kent State guys in space. The tempo is just going to be too much. Wyoming's going to be able to score easily as well. They can just run the ball and should have great success getting the ball down the field quickly with explosive plays. Over 58.5 is the play here. It's the lowest Kent State over of the year, I believe. I'll have to go back and look for sure, but actually the one versus they played Iowa early on. I'm sure that was a lower one, but Kent State over 58.5. We're gonna smash this one. The Idaho Potato Bowl. All right, then Tuesday, December 1st still, we've got the Frisco Bowl at 6:30. UTSA Roadrunners 12-1 versus San Diego State Aztecs 11-2. And I've got another teaser here. San Diego State plus 8.5, under 56. UTSA is without Sincere McCormick. He's been a super fun story this year. He's their star, but he's not going to play this game. He's going to go right into the draft, which, it's tough, but that's the way it goes in this thing. San Diego State got blasted in their last regular season game. I didn't like it until I read in a little deeper and found out that tons of guys from San Diego State were out with COVID. It's been 2 weeks now. I expect them to have that sorted out, have their guys back. They've got the best punter in the nation. He won the award for Punter of the Year. His name's Matt Ariza. I think San Diego State could win this game straight up. If you're, doing some kind of a money line parlay, it would be very juicy. They're obviously the underdogs, 2.5. But with this teaser, we're taking them at 8.5, so we're clear a touchdown and some. And then under 56. Both these teams play pretty good defense. Both these teams like to run the ball. That under should be fine. I saw a lot of people just on the regular under 49. So I just wanted to give us a little more wiggle room on both those things. I think the teaser's the right play here. So let's do it. San Diego State plus 8.5, under 56. And rounding it out with our last game, Wednesday, December 22nd, we've got the Armed Forces Bowl at 7 p.m. Missouri Tigers 6-6 versus Army Black Knights 8-4. Guys, I looked at this one for a while, and then it was like the right pick was just staring me right in the face. Under 57. Service Academy unders, always a pretty solid move. We obviously saw that Army's just not that good. I mean, not to be mean or rude to the troops, because it's amazing what they do, but boy, that game against Navy, I mean, you really saw it. They went up quickly, I want to say 10-0, and then I think they scored maybe another 3 in that one. Yeah, so they scored 13 in the first half and didn't score again, and Navy just kind of walked over them. Army's got a good defense. They were just out on the field way too much in that game. They're not able to get enough first downs. Missouri obviously stinks. I'm actually surprised they made a bowl, but here they are at 6-6. You would think, oh man, SEC team, blah, blah, blah. They're just not that good. They're coming into this, they're going to have a quarterback competition, which to me means we're going to have multiple quarterbacks coming in the game, which means lots of mistakes, false starts, delay of games. We're looking at stuff like that to slow the Missouri Tigers down just enough. Under 57. I mean, that's a pretty solid total. It's almost 60. I think if you'd have got this early enough, it started at 60, but under 57, we should be fine there. That's our last pick for this one. Yes, our next podcast, guys, is going to drop December 23rd. I believe that's a Thursday morning. We've got plenty more bowls to go. We're just getting started. I know some of these bowls stink to you guys a little bit, but as a college football junkie myself, I'm going to watch as many of these as I can, even though some of them are going to stink. I'm not going to be honest with you. I hope you guys tail. If you do, let me know. Obviously, I'll be writing about these on codasportscappers.com. Always let me know. It's a lot of fun to do this stuff with you. Big shout out to all the Coda Cappers out there, and big shout out to all the cheapies. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. If this is listened to on Friday, catch me in the DMs. Catch me on Twitter at Potato Gobbler. I love you all. Peace.